Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel, welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing episode 3 of Yuri on Ice, and you guys know that I am obsessed with this show. This is probably like one of my top shows of the season, obviously besides Haikyuu, because Haikyuu is like my fave, but like Yuri on Ice is just so good so far, and this episode did not disappoint whatsoever. I mean, just a little tiny bit, but not in terms of storyline and stuff, but we'll get to that later. This episode was the episode where the battle, the hot springs on ice battle thingamajig between Yuri and Yurio occurs, and we see who will win the right to have Victor as their coach. Is Yuri gonna be able to pull this off and beat Yurio? Because Yurio seems very confident that he's gonna beat him, and we're a little worried for little Yuri there, but you know, things worked out. So this episode was really focusing on the differences between the two and the differences in their two different routines. So Yurio's routine was Agape, which is unconditional love, and Yuri's routine was Eros, which is sexual love. And it's like the opposite, because you see Yurio being more of the sexual love kind of guy because he's more confident, more aggressive, just that's the type of guy, and like more of the love that he exudes. And you would think Yuri more of the unconditional love because he's like a sweet little baby and you just want to love him forever. Victor decides to switch it up, and so the two have to kind of get into that feeling, get into those emotions, and we see them kind of struggle a bit because they're trying to think like, what does that mean for me? Yuri, of course, doesn't really do the whole sexual love type of thing. He's not really familiar with the concept. And then Yurio, on the other hand, he kind of didn't really know what he was looking for either until a certain moment where it just snapped. Victor kind of focuses on Yurio a bit first, and he has like this whole little routine for Yurio where Yurio doesn't get it and then he'll go to the temple or go to the waterfall. It's that moment at the waterfall that Yurio kind of snaps and his image, his visualization of Agape love kind of forms, and he realizes that unconditional love in his eyes is his love for his grandpa, and it's a really cute moment, and you see little Yurio and he's so cute, and he's like, "Grandpa, like, are you gonna come to my next practice? Like, I just want you there," or something like that. And his grandpa is looking at him, he's like, "You're the best skater there," and it's just so cute. And you kind of see that moment, that's a moment that it like clicks in his mind, and even Yuri notices as well. For Yuri, he kind of figures out what his Eros love is in two different times. He first recognizes it as the pork cutlet bowl thingamajig, which wasn't really exactly what we were going for, and I don't think that's what Victor was going for either. Finally, it becomes the day, and Yurio is the first to perform. Oh, before that though, they get to choose their little outfits, and Victor flies in all his outfits from his previous competitions and stuff, and they get to choose, and Yuri actually picks this one outfit where it's when Victor, it's kind of more, it's a mix between feminine and masculine when Victor had his longer hair, so he kind of was like fluid between the two genders in this costume, and Yuri's like, "I want this one." And that I think also kind of brings him into the idea where he goes to his ballet instructor, his coach's, the girl, her house the night before, and he asks her, "How do I be more feminine in my movements?" And I will talk about that a little bit later, but let's talk about Yurio's performance for a second. But his performance was so good, except you see that he struggles a little bit. It's like really captivating and you're like, oh my gosh, except for the animation. I will talk about that after. But you see him kind of struggling a bit with like, at the end, he's like, wait, like I'm not thinking about my grandpa at all, like this isn't it, blah, blah, blah. When will this end? And you're like, oh no, like is he gonna mess up? But he doesn't, and it's fine. And then it's time for Yuri to go, and you're like, yeah, my boy Yuri. And we find out that Yuri actually discovers his meaning of Eros, and he realizes that the person he wants to dance for is Victor, pretty much. It's like implied, like very heavily implied that Victor is what he wants to aim his Eros love at, and there's a bunch of cute moments between them and like their little hugs and everything. But Yuri goes and performs, and he does mess up at one point, and actually at a bunch according to Victor, but you see that he went to his coach to become more feminine in his movements, and he realizes that he's not like that playboy guy. He's going for the more feminine side of the role, and you see that it works for him, and he ends up winning, and Yurio leaves before the end of his performance because he kind of sees that in Victor's eyes, and he sees that Victor has already picked the winner, and he's like, it's fine, I'm gonna still win. Tell that to him, and then he just jets off into the blue. Goodbye, Yurio. Angry little child, I will miss you. But oh man, guys, I love this episode. It was real good. The interactions between Victor and Yuri were just, whoo, when he did the whole chin lip touching thing, and you're like, oh my god, there's too much tension between you two, and their hugs and everything, and his shoulder, and his shoulder grab when he's on like the podium, and he just like grabs Yuri's shoulder, and Yuri's like, I know how to speak, like, I have all my confidence because my boy is beside me, and you're like, ugh. I will address the animation was a little shaky, but I kind of expected it, not gonna lie. Like, from the first episode, I wasn't sure exactly how the animation was gonna go, because figure skating, I just felt like that could be a hard challenge. Like, that's pretty, like, all intricate movements and stuff. Like, I wasn't really sure how they were gonna do it, and the first two episodes were pretty spot on. But this episode, you see a little bit of a letdown compared to the first two, maybe because the movements were more intricate, I don't know, but like sometimes they just didn't look on point, and like their arms were really out of whack, and just the animation would go from like a little like shaky to like really pretty to shaky again to pretty, and you're like, hopefully it's not like that for the rest of the show. And maybe I was just over analyzing it, but I felt like it wasn't the same kind of this at the same level as the previous two episodes. But besides that, Yuri has won over Victor, and all is well in the world, and now we just get to see them conquer the world together. And Yuri has just like pretty much like, not only did he find his Eros in the dance, but he found it, the dance, the routine, the skate, whatever. He found it in like life as well. Like Victor, he knows Victor is gonna be that one guy that he's gonna skate for, and like, I need water. My throat is literally dying there. Sometimes I talk and I don't breathe, so that's what happens. But yes, I'm very excited to see the rest of the season. This episode was great. I loved it. We got to see a little more of the softer side of Yurio. We got to see a little more into who he is as a person. And we got to see both of them kind of struggle with their identity and like what they skate for. So I found that really interesting. We're really getting to connect with the characters a little more. And of course Victor is just perfect as always. So I love this show. But yes, that is the end of my review. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, all my other social media will be linked down below, so you can always check that out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys all rock so much. And yeah, thanks for watching. I already said that. I make a bunch of videos a week,